Hello, in this video we look at Bodhicaryavatara, chapter 6, verse 16. Shitoshna vrishtivatadvavyadhibandhanatardaihi saukumaryanna kartavyam anyatha vardhate vyatha. And now with the text. शीतोष्णवृष्टिवाताद्व्याधिबन्धनताडैः सौकुमार्यन्न कर्तव्यम् अन्यथा vardhate vyatha. So the main verb is not expressive. The main verb is just the copulative is. Saukumaryam na kartavyam. So Kumaria, I'll explain that in a moment, is like delicacy, being over delicate or fastidious about something. Nakartavyam is not to be done. So Kumaryam nakartavyam, don't be over delicate. Shantidev could have said so Kumaryam nasti kartavyam, nasti kartavyam, but the verb to be can be left out in this kind of context. So Kumaryam, delicacy is not to be done, literally. You shouldn't be over delicate about it. Shouldn't be too fastidious, poor little me about it. And about these things, you shouldn't be over delicate about. It's put in the instrumental plural here, tardei, because there's a whole series of things that you shouldn't be too delicate about. Shita, Ushna, Vrishti, Vata, Adva, Vyadhi, Bandhana, Tada. Tarda means a beating, tard, to beat. It's put in the instrumental plural, even if, for example, there were only one beating, because you've got a series of nouns forming a compound. Therefore, the last member of that compound takes the number, whether it be singular, dual, or plural, of how many things there are in the compound. Here we've got more than two, therefore that makes a plural. Therefore, that's why tardehi, it's got to go in the plural. Instrumental plural, because if you are delicate about something, it just happens to go in the instrumental in Sanskrit. If there had been a locative ending eshu, if it had been Shitoshna Vrishtivatad Vavyadhimandratadeshu, that would have been equally all right. That would have been the locative of respect, or the locative in respect of something with regard to something. Either would have been equally correct. I think I might slightly more have expected to see the locative there, but okay, it's no big deal at all. So Kumariam, delicacy is not to be done. In respect of what? So there's a whole list of things made into one compound noun. So it's written here as shita, meaning cold. In fact, more correctly in classical Sanskrit, it is sita, not a shita, but you will find it also written as shita. I think Panini, for example, would have said that sita is the correct form. And of course, it's become the well-known name as well. Raman Sita, Sita here meaning kind of cool. Here, of course, it means cold, unpleasant cold. Ushna means it's an adjective and a noun. Ushna is hot or heat. So shitoshna, cold and heat, meaning unpleasant cold and unpleasant heat. Vrishti, the rain. Vata, the wind. Let me just cool up our. Oops. Ooh, where's my Where's my iPad gone? Let's pause for a moment while I get my iPad back. Here we haven't got the iPad back. The Vata, it's from, from our well-known root, Va, meaning to blow. In fact, it's from that we get Nirvana, which actually literally means blowing out in exactly the same way. It's a very ordinary word of the language originally. It just means blowing out, as in, for example, blowing out a candle. And so the vata, that which is blown, is the wind. Vata. Cognate with Latin ventus, the wind, from which we ventilate. Il vento in Italian, le vent, il viento. And also cognate with our English word wind as well. So vata, ventus, wind. So ventilate and wind, you see, from different roots, come into English by different roots, both from our common Proto-Indo-European va, meaning to blow. And the next one, vata adva. Adva means literally just the road. But here you've got to interpret it a bit poetically to mean the pains and labors and travails of the road. In other words, the discomfort of a journey. Vyadhi. Now, Vyadhi is actually quite interesting here. iPad again. Here we go. We've got, it's from the root dha actually, and when dha meaning to place or to put, when it comes as a noun at the end of a compound, the dha becomes dhi. So we've got, for example, we all know the word samadhi. Samadhi, the placing, adhi, drawing towards you and placing. Samadhi, you gather in around you, gather in around you and place. Samadhi, it's the gathering in. Samadhi, gather towards placing. Samadhi. And mostly in Buddhist practice, we have interpreted this word as relating to a meditative state, a state of concentration, which it's how it's mostly used also in the Bodhicaryavatara. But take the opposite. Very often you give a word an opposite meaning by, instead of the prefix sam, you put vi. Sam is together, vi is apart. So if it's vi plus adhi, by sandhi, that becomes vyadhi. So samadhi also have a physical sense, not just the mental sense that we're used to, the physical sense of you're together, all is well. Your body is functioning harmoniously. You're together. You're not ill. Vyadhi, things are falling apart. The idea of kind of illness, a sickness, vyadhi, things falling apart. And that's what it means here. So vyadhi, treat this here as kind of sickness. Bandhana, that's easy enough to see. That's from the root bandh, which is cognate with our English bind, tying somebody up. Bandhana, it means both tying up and also binding in the sense of keeping somebody in prison. You're binding his liberty, as it were. So bandhana, cognate with binding, but in this sense, imprisonment, deprivation of liberty. And tada, as I explained, that just means a beating or a blow from the root tad. So kumaryam nakartavyam. So in all of these things, so kumaryam nakartavyam. Nakartavyam is not to be done. What is so kumaryam? Um, we have I bet again. We have kumara. So I'm just trying to get it so you can see. Oh, I'll give you a new page. Um, Kumara, young man, often translated as prince, but it's often given, especially if you put su in front of it. Sukumara. It's often used with a kind of sarcastic tone to it. Oh, Sukumara. Oh, you delicate little prince, like a little diddums, being sarcastic. Can't you take that? Ooh, you little princeling. Sukumara. Now, we make a vriddhi derivative adjective. So, Sukumara then means little princeling, and then by extension of meaning, over delicate. And over delicacy, we can make an abstract noun of that with a vriddhi derivative. So vriddhi of the first syllable, so su becomes sau. Rest of the word remains the same, except the final a becomes ya. Sau kumarya. So sau kumarya then means over delicacy. So these vriddhi derivatives are they invariably, certainly almost invariably, they make neuter nouns. So saukumaryanna kartavyam. Kartavya, the future passive participle from kri, to do, kartavyam, to be done, requiring to be done, na kartavyam, shouldn't be done. So literally, over delicacy should not be done. Or put in more normal English, you shouldn't be over delicate about those things. Just, take it. So, with all these things, saukumaryam nakartavyam. Anyata, otherwise, vardate vyata. So, otherwise, the vyata, the word we just discussed, the pain, the unpleasantness, the discomfort, the word vyata embraces kind of anything that's kind of nasty and you don't like. The vyata, the unpleasantness of it. Anyata, this ending ta here, we have anya. Oops, let me just give you the anya, meaning other. And by adding this adverbial suffix ta at the end, it means otherwise. So exactly, so anya, anyata is exactly the same as in English. We would say other and otherwise. Anyata, otherwise, vardate vyata. The vyata, the unpleasantness, the pain of it, vardate, will increase. Vardate, I don't know, yeah. We have the root vrid. It's a class 1, So it makes its present stem vard and, sorry, vardha. So I marked that up. Oops, start again. So vardha, it can be vardhati or vardhate. It can be parasmaipada or atmanepada. This is one of those verbs where the distinction between the meaning of the parasmaipada and atmanepada has been preserved perfectly from Vedic times into classical Sanskrit. So vardhati in the parasmaipada form, the transitive form, means to grow something, to make something grow, to increase it. Vardhate, the atmanepada, the mediopassive or intransitive form, just means to grow. And here, of course, it's used in the atmanepada form, anyata vardhate vyata. Otherwise, the vyata will grow, will get worse, will increase. This root vrid, as we often see, you get a v and a g interchanging as words come from Proto-Indo-European into Latin and thus through the Romance languages into English, equally into the Germanic languages, and we see them existing in parallel. For example, in modern English, um, ward, in the sense of guard, warden, the guardian, ward and guard are ultimately the same word with just a variation of the w and the g. Vrid has come into English as grow. So vrid and grow are etymologically the same word, and vriddhi is the same as our word growth. Um, and it can mean to grow, can also mean to flourish. And a polite greeting to an ascetic would be apitapo vardhate. So in Shakuntala by Kalidasa, the king meets the ascetic in his ascetic's grove and gives him a courteous greeting, which is api tapo vardhate. Does your tapas, your spiritual austerities, vardhate, are they being prosperous, bearing fruit? Good. So api usually means something like even, but when it occurs at the beginning of a sentence, sorry, I'm trying to. I wish I could get this to appear on my shared screen. Ah, I can't. Okay, get a new page. Api, I said, normally means even that. Et tu brute, even you, Brutus. So api. But where it occurs at the beginning of a sentence, it can be the mark of, it can turn what follows into a question. So api tapo vardate is your tapas, is your austerity bearing fruit, profiting, being successful. Vardhate. Apitapo vardhate. So I'll just read through it once more then. शीतोष्णवृष्टिवाताद्व्याधिबन्धनताडैः सौकुमार्यन्न कर्तव्यम् Anyatha vardhate vyatha. And once more. शीतोष्णवृष्टिवाताद्व्याधिबन्धनताडैः सौकुमार्यन्न कर्तव्यम् अन्यथा vardhate vyatha. And that's it on this video.